All right, so we're going to do a walkthrough, kind of using everything that we learned at this point to kind of make like a bigger project. And I'm also going to show you guys how to kind of organize your code because our pieces of our drawing is going to start getting long in the tooth. So we're going to use some functions to be able to help organize our code. We'll use some comments to kind of manage ourselves along the way. And we're going to be using circles and letters to draw our stuff using our helper code that we've already learned. So what we want to draw is, you know, that song that they play on TikTok and Instagram, the one circle, one big circle. That's what we're going to be drawing. We're going to kind of do this version right here. Let's look at that. Okay, we'll have the little legs right here, and we'll do an E, but these will be the W, W, and an E. We're going to actually do that, and we'll do all these shapes. Now, one thing that we have kind of talked about, and it's going to become really apparent in here, is that we have to play around with layers. If we look here, the nose is actually on top of the head. And the ears, you could say, are technically behind the head. They could technically be on top of it, but the body is most definitely behind the head. The E and the W don't matter so much, but they probably are also behind the body. So we're going to have to build this and then make a function so that we can play around with the order and make it so that it will look like this. But this is what we want to basically draw. And then we're going to also color it using color picker. Okay, so let's jump into this. The first thing that I want to do is I want some helper code that I'm going to comment out. So helper code, console.log, use the back tick. Remember, it's the button that's above the tab or to the left of the 1 key. And we're going to do $mouse X. We want to make sure that this is working before we get started because this will help us as we progress. I'll close my parentheses. Let's run. There we go. That's useful. Okay, so now we want to start positioning. So let's start working on just the snout part. So the snout. All right, so inside the snout, we know that we're going to end up, and we're going to do this all with circles. We could do ellipse and stretch them out. Let's actually look at an ellipse. So we're going to kind of do a couple things. If we look here, yeah, I mean, I see circles, and technically that snout is an ellipse. This is an oval. It is not an actual circle. So let's look at that real quick. We'll go to shape, go to ellipse. All right. So the circles we know are center drawn shapes. That makes things easy. With an ellipse, it draws an oval to the screen. The first two parameters are the center of the ellipse as long as we don't change anything. And then the third and fourth are the width and height. Now, a circle is a special type of an ellipse because a circle has the same width and height. The same as a square is a special type of rectangle because a square has the same width and height. Okay, so we could actually use this. So let's start building. Let's say, looking at this picture, I want this kind of more in the top left. I want to kind of fill the screen though. So let's start the snout. Maybe, let's say here. So we're looking at 99, 123. So let's do circle, 99, 123. Finish it with a semicolon. Oh, okay, and we need a size. Let's do 20. See what we're at. I think we could work with that. Okay, so we know we're going to need another one. I'm going to put mouse X and mouse Y here. And let's try to place another one. 135, 123. 135, 123. There we go. Now that's one circle, one big circle right there. That's what we're going to use. We're going to do an ellipse. Okay, and we know that the first two positions are the mouse X and mouse Y. And we want a wider width than the height. So I don't know, let's play around with some values to kind of find that looks way too small. So let's do 70. 90. I'm just kind of playing with some values. And then let's do maybe 60. That looks better. However, look, the nose part is underneath. So we actually have the wrong order. We need to switch this. So now that's showing underneath. Let's go ahead and kind of place that. I see 117, 125. So that's what I'm going to replace this with. 117, comma 125. Make sure I'm finishing with a semicolon. And there's my snout. Okay, so we want to actually create some functions. To create a function, and a function is just a way that we can kind of organize code. This is what it does. A function is going to do something. Usually you have it only do something specific. So in this case, we're going to put function and call it drawSnout. We don't need any requirements, so we'll just leave it like that. And then I'm going to copy all of this. Command X or Control X to cut it, and then Command V or Control V to paste it. So now it doesn't show up in the draw, but if I want to call that function back, I just write the name exactly how I see it, finished with the set of parentheses, and then it's good. Now I need to look at what colors I want. Both of these circles for this part of the snout, I want that to be black. So I'm going to go to fill, and I want to fill it at 0. But the snout part, I actually want that to be some type of pink. So let's kind of look for a pink, a lightish pink color. There we go. Let's do that. So this is my color. This is what I'm going to fill with. I'm going to copy this, Command C or Control C, depending on what device you're on, and I'm going to fill the snout. Now, what I got to be careful of, the fills. As soon as I start trying to fill something with a color, notice that this fill for black did it for both of the circles, because think of it like a paintbrush. As soon as I pick a color, it's going to paint everything that color unless I pick a different color. Now there are a couple ways around this that we're going to learn later on, but for right now, anytime you want to change a color, you have to pick a fill, and you pick the color, and it has to be before you're doing the shape, not after, okay? Because the draw will start at the top of the program, the start of the code block, and we'll run line by line until it gets all the way to the bottom. Now, since I'm calling a function, we start here, we're calling this, it will set. This is a function that's setting the color of the background. Then I'm reading a comment, which doesn't get put in my code. I'm doing this console log and putting the mouse X and mouse positions here, and then I get to draw snout, which means that I'm calling this function, and I'm starting at this code block and going line by line until I get to the end, and then I come back and I continue on the line right underneath it. Okay, so let's continue on, and now we did the one circle, one big circle. Now we need to do the head and the ears. So let's do that. We're going to do, let's do head. And we know that we're going to have, and our circles for the ears are probably going to be the same size as the other ones. Mouse X, mouse Y, 120. Let's put that, let's look here, one circle, one big circle. Okay, so we want, let's look at that picture. It's pretty close to the nose. I'm gonna do right here, and that is 7867. 7867. I'm gonna copy this, paste it. Let's do, I'm going to do the same height. I'm just going to switch my X, so I just want to see what that is. So mouse X, and I'm just going to kind of position. So we'll go a little bit wider. There we go. 153. Because I only need the X part. Let's do 150. So we can replace that, 150. There you go. There's my eyes. Now I want my head. So I want that, but that's, remember, it's going to be behind the eyes and the snout. So I want to do this. So I'm going to do circle. And then let's do mouse X, mouse Y, and then we want a much bigger head. So let's do maybe 120. That seems like that is not big enough. 150. That's probably big enough. Okay. Now we're going to have to change the colors. So we do with the head, we have this fill. And I might, if I really wanted to try to do some shading, I might have different color for the snout and the other parts, and then a lighter pink for the body. Let's go ahead and look at that. So we could do a little bit of a lighter one, because I think that'll look cool. So we're going to do that. We're going to just switch this out. Let's find our position. Now notice how it's going behind the eyes, but it is not going behind the snout, because the snout is drawn before this. So we are going to have to finish this and change the position. So why don't we go ahead and create this function, drawHead. And usually it's best if your functions have a descriptive name. I'm going to copy all of this, cut this, Control X or Command X. Let's put it there, and we know that we're going to draw it before the snout, so drawHead. Okay, now I still need to place this. Let's look at the picture again. Yep. Okay, so we're looking here at the position, 116, 102, 118, 101, 118, 101, 118, 101. Okay, there we go, but I know that I want to fill with black for the eyes, so let's fill 0. There we go. And now we did one circle, one circle, one big circle, one circle, one circle, one big circle, one circle, one circle, one big circle. So let's do that part. The ears we know are going to be a part of the head. I'm just going to go ahead and put those in there. Same size. So let's do the head. And we want them to be behind the actual head part. So here is the eyes, so we can locate it. So let's do the ears. All right, circle, mouse X, mouse Y. See how useful that helper code is? We know it's probably going to be about 20. Let's put that, let's look at the picture again. Okay, maybe around here. And I'm probably going to put it so the head is covering up a little bit. I think I want this a little bit bigger. Yeah, just a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's 60, 42, 60, comma 42. There we go. Let's copy this. I know I'm going to do the same height, but I'm switching my X, so mouse X. Let's move it over until it looks about the same. There we go, 175. That's what I'm replacing for my X. 175. And I'm going to fill this with the snout color. So let's do the snout color right there. Finish it with a semicolon. That's looking pretty good. Now we need to do the one big circle, which would be the body. So the head is going to go on top of the body. Okay, so in this case, why don't I just write this first, and then I can just create a function for it. Now, the order that we're calling is this. It doesn't matter the order that we're writing those functions. Okay, drawBody. All right, we are going to have the legs, tail, and body. Okay, so let's do the body. We're going to fill with the same color as what we have the head. And we want a much bigger circle. Mouse X, mouse Y, and let's try 200. Let's just double check. That looks at least the size of the head, if not bigger. Let's try 250. There we go. Big fat pig. All right, so that is 237, 176. 237, 176. There's our pig. The colors are wrong. This is the color that we want. We want the lighter color. And this is why we want a comment, because it makes us be able to find it easier. That looks better. All right, so I want to do W's and E's. And this is a little bit different. So when we want to do text, there's a couple things. We want to do textAlign and textSize. TextSize, we can size our text, and then textAlign, we can size for left, center, and right for where we want to position in terms of the X value that we're going to use for doing the text function right here. Okay, and then we could also position, related to the top, which would be top, bottom, center, or baseline. So we can use these, and that would become helpful. If we only did one, it's just doing that horizontal. So let's look at that text function. This is the text, and then this is our X and Y, and we can build in relation to that. So that's what we want to do. So let's do the legs, text, and we want to do a big W, and we want a big text size. So I don't know, let's put like 48. And then we got to give it a position. So that was our first part. Now we got to give it an X and a Y. We're going to do mouse X, mouse Y. And this is where I think it's going to make it a little bit difficult to try to position, because see the mouse position with my W, okay? If I switch this textAlign to, let's say, center, now that's centered horizontally. If I put another one for the vertical and I do center, center, that makes it so it's going off the center of my mouse X and my mouse Y. That might make it a little bit easier. Let's look at the picture of the pig. We got two little legs right at the bottom. So we want like one right there. So that's 213, 313. 213, 313. Let's do another one with this. And we know we're going to have about the same height, but we're going to have a different mouse X. So let's give them, I think we want to jump it up a little bit. Let's do mouse Y. There we go. 269, 310. 269, 310. Okay, there's my W and my W, and now I need the tail, which would be the E. Now I'm leaving the textSize and textAlign because it's carrying over to all of these. So we want an E, and I want a lowercase e. Let's go to mouse X, mouse Y. Let's give him a tail. Maybe this tail's up higher. Let's look at the picture real quick. Yeah, he's got a tail up higher. There we go. Let's look at that one. That's 372, 163. 372, 163. There we go. Okay. And now the last part that we can do is we can do, we did fill for filling shapes, but now there's actually stroke. Stroke is used for text or for the outlines of shapes. So like looking here, instead of having black, we could actually do that darker pink. We could outline that. And we could do that for everything if we wanted. We could put a stroke here and it would apply to all the parts instead of it being that. So let's say that we wanted it to apply to everything. I wanted to do that darker pink. So the head, let's do this color, the darker color. And you know, actually maybe I didn't want, so I wanted to check that color. I can paste, that's the original color. Let's say I wanted to go with a darker one. How about this? There we go. So if I apply this stroke, then instead of me seeing, let's make sure that I'm typing it right. Stroke. I did not color the text though, because text uses fill. Okay, I'm thinking of multiple different languages. Okay, so we have the outlines here, but we don't have the fill. So this is the color that we want to use. I'm reusing that code again. So I'm using that same color again. This is where I should probably start putting some variables in. So let's say that we put some variables. We're going to do let, this is a global variable. We want all the outlines, so outline color. Let body, or but main color, and then shade color. We'll put those values there so that we can just replace these. So outline color is that. Okay, but if I want to use that, I got to actually use this. It's a function. It would be called color. So I'm saying that this color is going to be stored in this variable outline color. Main color is going to be stored in this. Let's find that. So the body, get that color. And then we have shade color. Shade color is color. This one will be this color right here. So this is a little bit harder for us to keep track of because we just have all these values going around. So there we go. So now I have these colors. So this outline color, I know that I'm going to want to apply that to the body piece right here. So I can say fill, as long as I'm doing it before the stuff. And instead of me saying that, I'm just going to say outline color. I'm just going to call that variable. So now see how it colored that? Okay, so anywhere where that outline color is, I can replace. I can replace all the colors. So this is we have 3 colors, outline, main, and shade. And notice that I have all 3 of them. Using where the first letter is lowercase, the second letter or the first letter of the second word or every other word is capitalized. This is called camel case. So we got outline color, main color, and shade color. So I'm going to start replacing these. Body is main color. Okay, didn't break our code. Fill. This is shade color. This is main color. Snout, shade color. Oop, I gotta make sure that I'm spelling it exactly the same, including case. And that's it. So now, just so that we understand the process of this, the reason why I would do this is because now I could change these values to whatever I wanted, and it would change everything else, okay? So this is what you're gonna turn in, but I want to show. So let's say we wanted to do some purple color as his outline. Okay, this is the color that we wanted to use. That outline color I could replace as this, and now it changed the E, the W's, and everything else as long as we're using that variable, which did not change the stroke here. This is outline color also. Well, bam. Okay. So that is it. That's the pig walkthrough. Doing the song off of TikTok and Instagram. We use functions to organize our code. So we have a drawBody, a drawHead, and a drawSnout. We had to pay attention to the order that we were drawing because we stack everything on top of each other as we go down the draw. When we use colors or stroke colors, it applies to everything after it. So if you wanted to change colors, you got to actually recall another stroke, another size, another fill. Until we learn more code, that's where we're at. All right, good luck, have fun.